And gentlemen, welcome everybody here to the Lunchdown. That's right, we are back once again with another edition of the Lunchdown. I'm your host, Conman167, and today is the very first day in the amazing thing that I'm going to dub the hashtag Summer of Conman. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, like, what is this? What is this? Why am I watching this? Why do I care about the Summer of Conman? It's not even Conman. Well, I'm officially starting my trend of amazing videos here today. So it's the hashtag Summer of Conman. We're going to build up towards the summer. We're going to have lots of amazing stuff here. Today is the Lunchdown, though, and this show right here, if you've never been a part of it before, it is a show where we talk about all the rumors going around in the WWE. We break down the rumors in our rumor roundup. We have so many little segments. All the segments are down here below me. You can see we got rumor roundup, breakdown, Twitter questions, which is basically just questions here in the live chat, sponsor spotlight, and Conman's take. So there's a lot of cool little things here that we can talk about today. But obviously the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the awesome rumors that have been going around. Some good, some, you know what I mean? There's just some rumors that I don't know how I feel about. So, obviously, let's get right into this. This is the rumor roundup part of the show. Obviously, you can see that I've got that highlighted. I'm looking to get some graphics to possibly pop up on this show eventually. But the rumor roundup is where we talk all things rumors from the amazing website known as CageSiteSeats.com. And they are reporting that WWE is, in fact, returning to Saudi Arabia in November. So probably what it's going to be dubbed as is it's going to be dubbed as the greatest Survivor Series, most likely. Obviously WWE believes that they can go in this direction of going down into Saudi Arabia and, you know, trying to be a change, trying to be a voice of reason, trying to advance their society, whatever they may want to call it. WWE believes they can do that. However, after seeing the backlash from it the first time, there damn well better be some women superstars wrestling in Saudi Arabia come November. Otherwise, WWE is on a path of destruction, self-destruction, I should say, because that's a bad move on their part. They got in trouble for even showing women on a commercial. On the WWE network, they got in trouble. So, what does that mean for them? Well, that technically means that WWE is clearly not going to be a brand that can try to change the way for women, at least right now. Obviously, this is the first show. It wasn't a huge success. I mean, maybe from a monetary standpoint, it was a huge success for the WWE, maybe from a viewership standpoint, but the actual matches and all that from the Greatest Royal Rumble were not a big success, right? It legitimately felt like a giant house show. And when I say house shows, what I mean by that is they're your live events. You know, you go to your little arenas and you have a WWE ring and all these WWE superstars are wrestling. There's always title matches on the line. There's steel cages match. There's ladder matches. There's always these really exciting matches at house shows. However, no titles ever change hands. Like, they don't change titles on house shows. They don't do too many big booking decisions on house shows. And for that reason, Greatest Royal Rumble was a flop because they built it up to be in this giant pay-per-view and nothing changed. We had 7 titles on the line and not a single one changed hands except for the Raw Tag Team Championships, but that was because there was literally nobody holding on to the titles. So it's a very, very weird show when you look at it. It wasn't a huge success in my eyes. I think from, like I said, a monetary standpoint, the money that they brought in, the viewership that they brought in, definitely a huge success in that regard. But from an in-ring standpoint and a storyline standpoint, and for what it was being built up to be, it was not a huge success. And I'm very, very much afraid for WWE moving forward that Saudi Arabia events are going to be seen as just a giant house show, because that's exactly what the Greatest Royal Rumble was. So going into November, the most likely going to be dubbed the Greatest Survivor Series, that is something to look out for, because they could either decide, you know, we're going to go all in and we're going to do a 10-on-10 Survivor Series elimination match. This makes it the greatest one ever. but it's not going to mean anything. So WWE has to really look at themselves and say, do we want the show to become a must-see show, or is it going to be another just something to have on the WWE network? So that's a little thing to watch out for. Also, the fact that the backlash from all the women not wrestling, that is huge. There better damn well be at least some steps to try to get women in the ring. Whether that be Stephanie McMahon coming out, fully dressed and doing a promo in front of the crowd, or having the women come into the ring fully clothed, maybe not wrestling yet, but absolutely cutting a promo and trying to inspire women over in Saudi Arabia and prove that there is stepping stones, that there is a direction they can move in. Because the Greatest Royal Rumble just didn't have that. They had 0 women showing up on the show. They didn't even have women on the kickoff panel, which is so sad to see for Renee Young because she is one of the best in the business. So, very sad to see that. Hopefully, Survivor Series or Greatest Survivor Series, whenever it comes back or whatever it's dubbed in November, will have a better outcome. Okay, so let's go back into here. So let's get into our next rumor. We got this right here. Obviously, like I'm just speaking more about the Greatest Royal Rumble, there is going to be people inside the WWE who are not happy with it, and that's what PW Insider is reporting, that there was some people within WWE who are not happy about going to Saudi Arabia to perform at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't blame them. No women announced on the card, probably a lot of women upset about that, not feeling as progressive. They are dubbing the women as the Women's Revolution, and meanwhile, they can't even go to Saudi Arabia. So WWE, you better not sell out again. You got to get those women on screen in November. The reason why Drew McIntyre, though, wasn't at the Greatest Royal Rumble was because WWE didn't call him up in time to get him a visa so that he could go over into Saudi Arabia. So that's why we were missing him as well on the show. And apparently some fans thought that Aiden English was hurt at the Greatest Royal Rumble on the tombstone that he took from The Undertaker, because if you watch the tombstone again, Aiden English was kind of, was kind of like a little lower than he should have been, and his head came spiked right into the mat. Luckily, there was no major damage, I don't think. It didn't look like his head got crushed. It didn't look like his neck bent in any way. It just looked like he got spiked on top of his head. So I bet you the feeling is like, when you, I don't know, like just try to think like if your friend were to pick you up on a trampoline and drop you on your face or something like that. Probably wouldn't hurt that much, but you'd feel the effects. You'd be like, ow, that hurts. So that's probably what happened with Aiden English there. So he got dropped right on the top of his skull from the tombstone pile driver and get put in the casket. So that is the rumor with him, is that he was injured there for a little bit, but he looks to be in okay shape. Probably just a little bump on the head and nothing too more to worry about there. PW Insider says that WWE was originally going to have Hornswoggle wrestle on the Greatest Royal Rumble kickoff show against WBL, but instead decided to put him in the Rumble match. So that's just kind of a fun little rumor there, that Hornswoggle was going to have a match against WBL. If you guys remember back to their WLC match, I think that's what it was called, between what was the 3MB guy was Hornswoggle and El Torito, I think is who he was in that match. That would have been really funny to see live. Welcome everybody though to the Lunchtime. We had just concluded the rumor roundup. Let's get into the breakdown, as I want to talk a little bit about some stuff that happened there. I want to talk about Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. So, okay. All right. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. This is a very polarizing feud, because Roman Reigns, it seemed like he was destined to win the WWE Universal title. It seemed like that was his path. He was on a war path right to the very top, facing Lesnar at WrestleMania, and then he didn't win. Everybody's like, okay, it is hands down going to be him winning at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then maybe he's going to face Samoa Joe for the Universal title at Backlash. That wasn't the case. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar ended in one of the weirdest ways to end a Universal Championship match, with Roman Reigns spearing Lesnar through the cage, but somehow Brock Lesnar got credited the win. I've looked at this video many, many times. I've watched it so many times, and I'm trying to see, like, did Brock Lesnar's feet in fact touch first? Is there some sort of unwritten rule, like a knee is considered, out of the cell? And then I got watching even closer, and I watched closer, and I looked at Roman's right foot. As he spears Brock Lesnar coming out of the cage, Roman Reigns' right foot is hung up on the apron. His left foot indeed touched first, but his right foot was hung up on the apron, thus allowing Brock Lesnar to roll on over and be out of the cage first. So the call was correct. There was no mistakes that happened there. Obviously, they wanted Brock Lesnar to continue to win because, once again, this was like a giant house show. However, guys, the match was not good. The match was not good. The only exciting part was basically the spear through the cage. I know they're trying to build up Roman Reigns as this huge conqueror who just can't quite get the job done against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has his numbers, right? It's like the Leafs facing the Bruins. The Bruins have the Leafs number in the playoffs. And no matter how well they do, they can't seem to top them. That's Roman Reigns right here, and it's an awesome story that they're telling. What would be even more amazing is if he loses to Samoa Joe this Sunday at Backlash, thus sending Roman Reigns in a bit of a downward spiral. Give us something different with his character. Give something that the fans can relate to. When everything that you try to do, everything that you are pushing for in life, everything that you want just doesn't seem to work out, how does that affect you personally? How does that affect you mentally, right? And that's the thing that Roman Reigns needs to go down if he is going to get won over by these fans. He needs to go in a downward spiral. He needs to start losing these matches, and we got to see a more aggressive, a more vicious type of Roman Reigns who has no holdbacks, who doesn't hold back from anybody, and then eventually he will capture the Universal title, I think, at SummerSlam over Brock Lesnar, because I believe WWE is trying to erase CM Punk from the record books. They are trying to have Brock Lesnar be the longest reigning modern day champion in history, so that's probably the direction that they are going. So Brock won. His feet technically did hit the floor first, as Roman Reigns, was it right foot? I believe it was his right foot that was hung up on the apron. So that's why. Obviously, people are saying they're getting tired of Roman Reigns. They're getting tired of Brock Lesnar. They say those two matches together, like, they got a big fight feel, but they certainly don't deliver, and I couldn't agree more. It's not that they're bad performers. They just don't have the quality to make that match. They don't have the fan support to make that match. It's not like you have a devastating heel versus a pure babyface. You have a guy who is struggling to get over with the main crowd, and you have a guy who fans are getting tired of in Brock Lesnar. So those two being put together does not work anymore. They need to move away from this feud, and they need to go on to something else. Who knows, maybe they revisit Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Maybe they bring up somebody new to face for the title, like, oh, who knows, maybe a returning Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar match would be cool. I don't know. There's lots of options there. Finn versus Brock Lesnar is another one that could be really, really good, but they need to figure some stuff out moving forward, especially considering that every pay-per-view is now going to be dual branded. But that doesn't necessarily mean the Universal title will be defended on every single pay-per-view. I see a lot of people talking about Elias versus Brock Lesnar. I don't know if that's a rumor or not. Let me take a quick little look here. Brock Lesnar versus Elias. Elias. Let's type this in. See if there's a rumor going around for this. So apparently, according to Express.co, UK or something. Oh, well, that's that one. Okay, so Ringside News, that's who it is. The publisher and editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer, claims that the Drifter is seen as a big superstar by WWE management and could be included as a top heel villain in the Universal title picture moving forward. Meltzer also pointed out that he's very popular among the fans, even though he is a heel. Yeah, they think he's a superstar. He might be the guy that they use as a big heel in the spot that we were talking about regarding the Universal title picture. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool if that's a thing. It's a cool rumor. I'm not entirely sure if that is something that they're going to pursue for sure. Elias was left off the WrestleMania card in, like, a major way. Obviously, he got his little segment there where he came out to the ring and, he did his whatever it was. But he wasn't in a match. and he wasn't even, he had a cool spot at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but he didn't have too much more than that. So it's not like he's viewed as a credible threat. I think Elias is probably 1 to 2 more feuds away from being a credible threat. I mean, he lost his feud with Braun Strowman, even though it was a very, very good feud. He lost the feud with him. He's seemingly losing a lot of feuds, but he's also not being put into any major feuds moving forward. So I want to see John Cena and Elias have something where Elias gets the win over Cena. They've got some history there. Maybe that's your next match. Maybe that's the, not Backlash matchup, but maybe after that. I'd like to see Elias start building up some bigger wins so that he would be taken as a credible threat against Lesnar, because the worst thing that could happen for Elias is for him to move into a program with Lesnar and get squashed, because that really, really would not be good. Your sound, it sounds weird for me right now. Is anybody else finding that my sound is a little weird? Or is everything fine? Let me know, guys. Please let me know if anybody else is saying that my sound is sounding weird. All right, let's get into your questions, though. Now is your time where you can ask me anything, whether it be on Twitter, that's over there, on Twitter over here, or all the way over in the live chat. You guys can talk to me about anything at all, whatever you want to know. So let's see here. Samuel Wilkinson asked me on Twitter saying, would you be okay with Finn Balor turning heel versus Seth? Yes, I would. I absolutely would. I think that would be a really cool feud to see, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. I think it would be awesome if we got that. I'd have no problems with that. I have zero problems with trying to turn Finn heel, because I think Finn Balor as a heel, he could be conniving. He could be, you know, not that he's a slimy heel, but like he sneaks things. He sneaks around. He's very much a he's got heel written all over him, doesn't he? If he gets rid of that smile and he turns a little more vicious, and his demonic character, the demon, maybe it returns and he starts being, you know, a little creepy backstage, little like Kane, you know. There we start talking about Finn Balor as a heel, if we can do that. Also, I think they missed the ball on Balor Club turning heel. If he does get a Balor Club, I think he needs 2 new people. Maybe the Miztourage becomes part of the Balor Club and Finn Balor turns heel. Who knows? Maybe that's what I would do in that direction. They've got history there, and the Balor Club needs to form, but it needs to form as a heel group. All right, let's go on here to your questions. Let's see if there's anybody more. What do I think of the bullshit at the Greatest Royal Rumble? Roman versus Brock. Roman did hit the floor before Brock. No, he didn't. We actually just talked about that one. Roman Reigns' right foot, sorry, was hung up on the apron. I watched it many, many times, and that is what happened. His foot was slightly hung up on the apron, thus meaning both feet didn't hit the floor before Brock Lesnar rolled off the cage. I'd like to see Rollins and Balor tag team for a bit. I'm going to pass on that one. Raw, while it does have a lot of major stars right now, I think they are the foundation of the mid-card as of the moment. Obviously, with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and whoever kind of dominating the main title picture, you need those workhorses, those amazing superstars, those athletic guys who can put on, you know, 20-25 minute matches, being in the mid-card competing for the IC title. I think Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins is the next match that we're going to get, and we're probably going to get that at Backlash, because it is going to be such a good match. It's like a dream match in the making, and another matchup between them where the Universal title isn't on the line, where it's the IC title, where they can get the possibility to steal the show. I think that's the way they need to go. Yes, Brad, he totally did. Titus O'Neil made that huge botch at the Royal Rumble, Greatest Royal Rumble, I guess we should say. And we are going to quickly pull this up. Titus O'Neil, Greatest Royal Rumble. We're going to quickly watch this. Let's see if I can get this up here for you guys. Let's get a, what is this called? Window capture. Boom. And I can go to right here. Don't worry, guys. You can, I'm still going to show you here. So here we go. Let's quickly watch this. Titus trips right there. He trips away, and down goes Titus O'Neil. Oh, so funny. Let's watch that one back once again. Here, pull it all the way back here. Trips down Titus O'Neil. Watch it again. Titus trips. Titus trips. Titus World Slide, and down goes Titus O'Neil. So funny, I love it. I can't believe that happened. Just the funniest thing that happened at the Greatest Royal Rumble there. Truly, truly hilarious. Greatest moment from the Greatest Royal Rumble. We're going to quickly switch into the sponsor spotlight. I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy, my bro, this amazing sponsor. His name is Saeed Katan. And Saeed, I want to thank you so much, dude, for being in here on the stream today, for becoming a sponsor, for remaining a sponsor. And oh boy, there's some cool new things that are coming to the sponsorships. Today, what I'm working on, so it should be live for the Monday Night Raw stream tonight, is that when you become a sponsor, there's possibilities of you earning loyalty rewards. So basically, for becoming a sponsor and sticking around, you know, for a week, I think a month, maybe 6 months, a year, and then 2 years or 2 years plus or something like that, you will get a cool little badge beside your name on top of the Gold Con Man badge. That shows people how long you've been a sponsor for, how long you've supported the channel, and all that. So that is coming to the channel very, very soon. So guys, I want you guys to consider becoming a sponsor to help support this channel. And now, Conman's take. I talked a lot of stuff about this today. I guess the breakdown is kind of like Conman's take a little bit, but I would like you guys something, or I would like to talk about something that you guys would like me to talk about. So, tell me something in the comments right now. What would you guys like for me to talk about here in Conman's Take? What is it that you want me to do Conman's Take on? Because this right here is a thing where it's like a mini rant almost, but it's determined from you guys. I haven't thought about this. I have not thought about what my take is going to be today. So guys, please let me know, what am I going to do my take on right now? I'm waiting for your comments. Who am I doing a take on? Boom. Broken Hardy and Bray Wyatt. That's a pretty good one. I like that one. We can talk about where they might be going and who their next challengers might be. I think that is the direction we're going to go. So this is from Anthony Daniel. Anthony Daniel suggested that Conman does his take on Broken Hardy and Bray Wyatt. So that's going to be my take today, guys. Strap in for Conman's Take. So Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. What is my take on them? They obviously became the new Raw Tag Team Champions at the Greatest Royal Rumble this past Friday, which is pretty good. It's the right call, obviously, with the bar going over to SmackDown. We need a new tag team challenger, new tag team champions, and all that over on Raw. So, yeah, it's a good job. It's a good job. I like the tag team. They seem to be building up a little bit more together. I think their finisher needs to be a little more vicious than just Bray Wyatt holding the guy. I think if Bray Wyatt did like a sit down, like, you know, slam or drop to his knees with it or something like that, they could time it pretty well. But yeah, their finisher is okay. It could use some work. Obviously, it's a twist of fate elevated like a wheelbarrow twist of fate. But they became the Raw Tag Team Champions in really a boring match, I'll be 100% honest. There was not much going on in that match. Was not all that exciting. But where do they go from here? Who is their next challengers going to be? What does the tag team division look like now? Well, obviously, there's a lot of members that have switched brands recently. The big names coming on over to Raw is obviously the team of Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. That would be my suggestion for probably next in line. If they do want to build up that team a little bit more before putting them in a title picture, I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, I think the Revival's still on Raw, right? The Revival didn't move brands. I think the Revival could be next. Authors of Pain, obviously, are a team that could be good. It would be a really intriguing matchup against Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. They could do a joke team like, you know, Breezango, maybe the Fashion Police. Maybe that's something that we could see happen. They did get a win on Raw on the Bar's Way Out. I think that's what it was. So there are some teams. My team, though, that I would pick that makes the most logical sense to get a tag team shot would be Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. You can build them up. You can have them just destroy the competition and all that. And then do a good matchup, but then end in, like, you know, a DQ or something like that where Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler don't get the titles. And then you build them up for another month and then have them capture the titles at the next pay-per-view. Anthony Daniel drops $5. He says, thanks, man. Love your content. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Anthony Daniel, for your amazing $5 donation. Really appreciate that. Not expecting to get donations during the stream, so that is really cool. Thank you so much, dude. I'll roll your donation right now. But that's kind of my take with them. I think you're going to see them hold on to the tag titles for a little bit, but not for too long. Simply because I think there's other teams in the waiting, and I think you're waiting for Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy to do more weird stuff, like, you know, another ultimate or final deletion or something like that, whatever they want to call it. So I'll roll your donation right now. There we go. Because it's Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day.
Thank you so much, dude, for your $5 donation. They could do like a triple threat match. They could do that as well with Authors of Pain. I don't think Authors of Pain have been built up enough on the main roster. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler have a little bit more of a, I don't know, just an impressive look as a tag team. They remind me so much of Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel back in the day. That's who they remind me of, and I think WWE is going to push them really, really well. But guys, that is going to be it here today for the Lunchtime. I hope you guys had a grand old time. Reminder to every single person here, this is the official start of the hashtag Summer of Conman, which means you guys can tweet that out, hashtag Summer of Conman, however many times you wish, hashtag Summer of Conman, and we can talk all things about WWE. This is the first one. I'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of the Lunchtime. Also today, I have a list video coming out to you, which is, what is it coming out today? I just got to look at my list. 5 reasons why Bobby Lashley will fail in the WWE. That is the video coming out today, so stay tuned for that one later on. And then, of course, I'll be live with Monday Night Raw tonight from 8 until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But don't worry, guys, I'll be back once again tomorrow with another edition of the Lunchtime, where we can break down Raw, talk all things about the show, and all that. But that is it for me here today. Thank you guys so much. Remember, you can tweet at me at any time if you have your questions or whatever you want me to answer. I will try to get back to you. Also, feel free to tweet at me with any suggestions for the show, anything you would like me to do, anything that I could make the show better and more entertaining for you. Obviously, it's still a new show here on the channel, trying to build up the viewership and trying for us to break through this little glass ceiling for this show, The Lunchtime. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like on your way out, and if you have not done so, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. But that's it for me. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later here today for Monday Night Raw.